So my thoughts about entering the 12-step program is that it's a must. I'm a recovering SMEX and corn addict who now helps other men in their journey to recovery. And I help a lot with coaching and a lot of helping them find resources. And one of my first resources that I found was a 12-step program. Dr. Pat Carnes, who wrote the book initially, Out of the Shadows, and has really been on the forefront of this particular addiction, has a good thing on his site of if you recognize that you have a problem, even if you're not willing to admit that it may be an addiction, there's two things you have to do. First thing is to get into a program. Second one is counseling, just in case you want to know. But I'm going to talk about the program part. The program for me was very helpful to get into, to understand how this not only affected me, but other people, and how deep it had affected me in my life. There's several 12-step programs you can get into. You really have to do a lot of research, a lot of finding to see where you fit in. But essentially, the core of it is trying to understand what the behaviors are, and that you can speak openly about your behaviors with other people in a safe environment. It points you to God. It points you to a higher power. And it's really helpful for fighting the belief that you are alone in this. And I think for me, that's been my biggest enjoyment of being able to go into a meeting and remind myself that I'm not the only one fighting this, and that gives me tremendous courage. Now, as someone who's going to 12-step meetings in recovery fully, not always the case. There's some people that are continue to relapse, and they'll go to meetings almost every day. But that's where that second part that Dr. Carnes writes about is getting help. Talk to somebody and uncover all the trauma and the pains. You have to unpack a lot of things you've been covering up by avoidance. Without doing that, I don't think someone can fully work through it where it's a lasting change. I do think the 12-step programs are very, very good for getting people definitely out of the mire and onto stable footing. But majority of the men I talk to who are succeeding in the program are also looking to other resources to help get them out. Well, I would say it definitely is important, but there are other steps involved that should show you a little bit more that there's actually recovery happening.